Transport Department probes into a southbound Guangdong driver for using banned autopilot mode in the city. The catering sector sees green Christmas sales amid cross-border trips surge. And Taiwan holds drill to boost response after last week's deadly metro stabbing. Good evening and happy Boxing Day. You're watching Cable News on FNBI. The Transport Department is investigating a case where a southbound travel driver from Guangdong purportedly used the car's intelligent driving functions while driving in Hong Kong. A clip circulating online appears to show the driver at one point removing both hands from the wheel when the vehicle was running on the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. The Transport Department reiterated that, given differences in traffic regulations between the mainland and Hong Kong, drivers should not activate overall combined autonomous or assisted driving systems on Hong Kong roads without prior authorization. Only specific vehicles using approved automated parking, assisted lane keeping, and automatic emergency braking are permitted. The authority will issue a warning to the driver concerned through the electronic contract details on record. Unless the driver responds to the authorities' satisfaction, their eligibility to book journeys will be suspended. The city's Christmas sparkle failed to fully translate into cash registers this year as a surge in residents heading north for the holidays and cautious spending by visitors led to a subdued season for local retailers and restaurants. Kun Ting-yang shares more.
Despite a city adorned with dazzling lights and bustling markets, businesses, especially the restaurants, reported a noticeable slowdown. The catering industry estimated business dropped by approximately 10%, with both local residents and mainland tourists tightening their budgets. Simon Wang, president of the Hong Kong Federation of Restaurants and Related Trades, noted that mainland tourists' average spending has weakened further by approximately 20% compared to last year, extending a decline that began after the pandemic. This consumer caution unfolded against a backdrop of significant population outflow. While about 130,000 visitors entered Hong Kong on Christmas Day, more than 660,000 residents departed, with the majority traveling north across the border for cheaper, family-friendly options. Amid this trend, the government is ramping up visitor attraction through initiatives like the southbound travel for Guangdong vehicles scheme. However, lawmakers have pointed out that the program's daily quota of 100 cars is insufficient to balance the outflow. Legislator-elect Alan Chen highlighted the vast gap, noting that an average of 8,600 vehicles traveled north daily in the first 10 months of the year. He urged the government to expand the quota and include Shenzhen ports into the program to attract more visitors with stronger purchasing power. Kun Ting-yang, Cable News.
Hong Kongers woke up to a chilly Boxing Day, with morning temperatures dipping to around 14 degrees Celsius in urban areas and even lower in parts of the new territories. While many are bundled up for holiday outings, residents are urged to stay warm and watch for rising flu risks amid the cooler weather. Sherilyn reports.
Hong Kong experienced a sudden cold snap over the Christmas holidays, with early risers braving wintry conditions for morning runs on Boxing Day. It's just 14 degrees Celsius. Last year it hit 10 degrees, so this feels quite enjoyable, this jogger said, shrugging off the chill. Another said the drop felt sharper this morning, but was perfect for exercise. Influenced by the northeast monsoon, the city will remain cool and dry over the next few days, with only a slight warm-up expected by mid-next week. Family doctor Lam Wing-wo warned that the cold weather brings health risks, including hypothermia, particularly for the elderly. He said relatives should ensure seniors stay warm, as early symptoms like fatigue and lethargy can quickly become life-threatening if exposure continues. Although local flu cases have seen a slight dip recently, Lam cautioned that holiday travel and the cold spell could fuel outbreaks. Cold air and low humidity help flu viruses survive longer and spread more easily, while chilly temperatures can slightly weaken immune responses, he said. Lam added that with crowded gatherings and trips to regions experiencing flu surges, the risk of influenza and other respiratory illnesses is significantly higher. He reminded residents to protect themselves by washing hands frequently, wearing masks in crowded places, and improving indoor ventilation. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
A new chance for more local riders to settle up is coming as the Hong Kong Jockey Club has unveiled plans to build a new public riding school in Guangdong, aimed to tackle years-long waiting lists for horse riding lessons. Quentin Yang shares more.
The Jockey Club project, which has received initial support from the government, proposes transforming a restored landfill site into the city's fourth public riding school. Plans submitted to the Sai Kung District Council outline a modern facility spreading 46,500 square meters across 3 tourist platforms on a seaside slope. It will feature indoor viewing galleries where the public can watch training sessions while enjoying panoramic views of the hills and sea. A special pony viewing area will also allow for close-up encounters and photos. Designed with full accessibility, the new facility will offer riding therapy for people with disabilities, similar to services at the current schools. The project serves as a direct response to overwhelming public demand. Once completed, it will join 3 existing institutions in Pak Fu Lam, Le Yu Mun, and Tun Mun to address a lengthy waiting list of over 20,000 riders who currently face average delays of several years for lessons. Having received a preliminary green light from officials, the club will apply for formal planning permission early next year. If approved, construction could begin by late 2027, with a targeted public opening in 2030. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Wielding fake knives and throwing pretend petrol bombs, mock attackers charged at passengers in a Taipei transportation hub as part of a drill to bolster responses following a deadly rampage in Taipei. Bess Leung has more details.
Smoke suddenly filled the platform inside a Taipei metro station, with fire alarms promptly sounding and devices emitting thick plumes of smoke, mocking a bomb attack. Passers-by sustained injuries from burns and jostling, collapsing to the ground. Staff wearing gas masks put off the device with fire extinguishers. Staff members carrying medical kits assessed the condition of the injured. Firefighters also arrived at the scene to support, carrying the injured away on a stretcher. The attackers then moved to a nearby bus hub and charged at people in front of a ticket counter, triggering a large crowd to flee in panic. 2 assailants holding long knives attacked those unable to flee in time. Surrounding the suspects with shields, police subdued them using stun guns after a failed surprise attack by the suspects. In the wake of last week's Taipei station stabbing, Taipei City Hall Station and Taipei City Hall Bus Station staged a joint drill, stimulating a Molotov cocktail attack and an indiscriminate assault. The exercise is intended to raise public security awareness and strengthen coordinations among response teams and support units in dealing with major violent incidents, according to Taipei Mayor Zhang Wen-an. Residents were given heads-up of the mock major emergency via text messages in Chinese and English, advising them not to panic or take any action. Apart from multiple drills planned for the end of next month, the rail operator has stepped up security deployment at 5 major interchange stations, including Zhongshan, Ximen, and City Hall Station. Bess Leung, Cable News.
The Japanese cabinet passed a record-high draft budget for the next fiscal year, with higher defense spending driving the overall increase. Beijing slammed the budget as further exposing the sinister intentions of Japan's right-wing forces to push remilitarization and revive militarism. Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi, who led the cabinet meeting, announced a record budget bill of 122.3 trillion yen, an increase of 7.1 trillion yen from the current fiscal year's initial budget, and a record high for the second consecutive year. Social security spending accounts for the largest share of expenditures,
at 39.1 trillion yen. More than 9 trillion yen has been allocated for defense-related purposes, setting a new record, and it was 9.4% bigger than the previous budget. The proposal for the fiscal year beginning in April 2026 is scheduled to be submitted to Parliament for approval, which starts on January 23rd. In Beijing, Foreign Ministry spokesman Lin Jian noted that, in recent years, Japan has relaxed limits on collective self-defense, developed so-called enemy-based strike capabilities, strengthened extended deterrence cooperation, and turned coastal islands into the front sides, clearly going beyond the scope of exclusive defense. The notions of defense and counterattack have become an excuse for Japan's right-wing forces to incite public opinion and manipulate discourse, circumventing the post-war international order and the constraints of the Japanese constitution, he said. These moves, Lin warned, have already raised high alert in the international community.
In a Christmas night military operation, U.S. forces launched deadly strikes against Islamic State targets in northwest Nigeria, making good on President Donald Trump's recent threats to respond to attacks on Christians. Quentin Yang reports.
Massive explosions tore through the night of Nigeria's Sokoto state, where U.S. missiles struck camps used by ISIS fighters. Although the blast caused widespread panic, early reports indicate no civilian casualties. Meanwhile, multiple ISIS terrorists were killed in the strike, the U.S. Africa Command stated. U.S. President Donald Trump later confirmed he had directed the powerful and deadly strike. He framed it as a direct response to the killings of Christians by ISIS terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, stating he had warned these terrorists there would be hell to pay. The U.S. Department of War said the action was taken at the request of and in coordination with Nigerian authorities. War Secretary Pete Hegseth also signaled further action may follow. The Nigerian government confirmed the coordinated strikes, affirming it remains engaged in structured security cooperation with international partners in addressing the persistent threat of terrorism. The operation follows Trump's earlier announcement that he had ordered the Pentagon to begin planning for potential military action in Nigeria over claims of Christian persecution in the country. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu dismissed Trump's narrative, saying armed groups target both Muslim and Christian communities in the country, and U.S. claims ignore efforts by Nigerian authorities to safeguard religious freedom. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed optimism about bringing an end to the war with Russia following a phone call with U.S. envoys.
Posting on social media, Zelensky held a nearly hour-long phone call with U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, saying the conversation yielded good ideas in terms of formats, meetings, and timing on how to bring real peace closer. However, he admitted that there was still work to be done on sensitive issues, adding that, together with the American team, we understand how to put all of this in place. The next few weeks may also be intensive, as many details of the peace plan are being ironed out, he said. Zelensky also asked Witkoff and Kushner to pass along Christmas greetings to Trump and his family. His remarks came 2 days after Kyiv unveiled an updated 20-point peace plan backed by U.S. and Ukrainian envoys.
A powerful storm slammed southern California over Christmas, triggering widespread flooding, mudslides, and debris flows that killed at least 3 people and left tens of thousands without power. Cheryl reports.
In the mountain community of Wrightwood, one of the hardest hit areas, heavy rains unleashed torrents of mud and debris that buried cars, flooded homes, and scattered wreckage across streets. California Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a state of emergency in Los Angeles and other Southern Californian counties to mobilize resources amid the onslaught. The storm, fueled by an atmospheric river, a narrow corridor of concentrated moisture pulled from the tropics, began pounding the region Wednesday and intensified through Christmas Day, dumping fierce rains and gusting winds that caused flash flooding, road closures, and hundreds of evacuations. Torrential downpours delivered up to 270 millimeters of rain in some Los Angeles County mountain areas, sparking mudslides and debris flows, especially in wildfire burn scars, where vegetation loss leaves soil unable to absorb water effectively. Forecasters also warned of heavy snow, strong gusts, and a considerable avalanche risk in parts of the Sierra Nevada. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy and dry, becoming the fine tomorrow. Temperatures range between 14 and 20 degrees and a couple of degrees lower and cold in the new territories. That's our news tonight. I'm Evan Bai. Thank you for watching and good night.